So good to see you. We shared Richard Sherman's comments earlier. Richard saying, Mina, that the bar has been lowered. Do you think Stafford is a Hall of Famer?
I do not. Right now, I do not. I agree with Sherman. Look, Matthew Stafford just had a hell of a postseason, hell of a season, and deserves a lot of credit for proving his critics wrong. But I think we got to pump the brakes a little on going right from the Super Bowl to Canton. My opinion is that the Hall of Fame, the bar that Sherman refers to, should be that a player has been either the best or among the best at his position, ideally for some period of time. Matthew Stafford has played 12 seasons in the NFL. In those 12 seasons, he's been in one Pro Bowl, never been an All-Pro. He has finished top 5 in passer rating once and top 5 in touchdowns 3 times. Now, the case for him getting in at this point is this incredible postseason run and all the counting stats, right? The fact that he ranks so high in career yards and touchdowns. But you got to look at the NFL and how it's changed over the last few years, last decade really, and you're going to see if you start leaning on those counting stats, a lot of players will get in simply because of the changing nature of football and how long they've played. Matthew Stafford still has a chance to get in if he continues to play at a high level longer and gets to more Super Bowls, absolutely. But for right now, can't we just enjoy what he's accomplished without putting him in a gold jacket?
Well, first of all, a couple of things. First of all, Mina, it's beautiful to see you without your hair blowing all over the place because you were outside in,
that was rough, man.
Southern
that was
California
rough.
with the sunshine in the background. It's very, very, very nice to see you under normal circumstances, okay? Let's get that out the way first. Secondly, I get where you're coming from, but I'm going to lean on what Richard Sherman said. I think Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Famer exactly because of what Richard Sherman pointed out. The bar has been lowered. That's my issue. That's my issue. Now, according to your standards, according to the standards that I would have and what have you, there's a few people that might not be up in there. And I brought up Eli Manning earlier for a reason. I brought up mediocre record, led the league in interceptions 3 times, never accused of being the best quarterback in football. He's got 2 Super Bowl championships and the MVPs along with it, even though I would point to the defense and the way they played against Tom Brady in both of those games. But that's neither here nor there. I'm simply pointing out that combined with everything that everybody has said about the Detroit Lions. Let me go back to when Matthew Stafford was traded to the Los Angeles Rams last offseason. Everybody in the football world it was major headlines. It was a blockbuster deal. It automatically catapulted the Rams to championship contention. Well, why? Because everybody said, well, we ain't talking about the Detroit Lions. We're talking about Matthew Stafford. He's different than the Detroit Lions. He is a person that suffered from being a Detroit Lion. Yeah. It wasn't his fault that they were that way. This is what people said. So I'm pointing to, again, I'm not debating anything that you said. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm saying everybody was talking about how Matthew Stafford was the exception. The organization he represented and the teams they put out on the field with him, they were never deserving of his talent. He was a loyalist. He was somebody that went out there and performed in spite of what he was surrounded by. He was lucky to get to the playoffs 3 times with what he had to work with, even though he had Megatron, Calvin Johnson, we can't forget that. But people were still looking at the Detroit Lions as that organization. As an organization, I will remind everybody that has not won a single playoff game since 1991. It's been 30 years since they won a playoff game. They've had a winless season. They almost had another one a couple of times, okay? So we look at it from that perspective and we say, that ain't Matthew Stafford. And the first time he gets away from them, the very first season he gets away from them, he wins a Super Bowl. If you're going to look at it from that perspective, again, I lean on Richard Sherman. The bar has been lowered. Yeah. That is why I say, according to that, I guess he is a Hall of Famer.
But can't we raise the bar, Stephen A? I mean, as arbiters of who, I guess if it's our job to give takes on who does belong, who is the greatest. And to your point about the Lions, there is a universe in which Matthew Stafford was on a better team, say the Rams, I don't know, for longer, and had performed at that higher level and had been in more Pro Bowls and had finished top 5 in a number of categories. And in that universe, maybe he would be a Hall of Famer already. But unfortunately, all we can do is look at the career he has put together up to this point. And I want to say this. He's what, 33? He's got another season with this very good football team. And I could very well be changing my tune in a year if he repeats this sort of performance. But right now, based on what he's accomplished, based on the fact that he has not been one of the best quarterbacks in football for 12 seasons, I just can't do it.
Same page.
I will tell you this. What I was told by all of you football experts was that he was one of the best as a talent. The numbers are not going to show it because of who he was playing for, which is why everybody – hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. I didn't say me. I said football experts such as yourself, Mina. Okay. When this man arrived in L.A., why was it such a big deal? Why was it such a big deal?
The relative jump over Jared Goff. That's why.
That's not the only reason. He catapulted the Rams to championship contention because we knew what skills he had.
Hold that thought. We're up against it because Ben Simmons is going to be live in just a minute. But, Mina, when you are back, we need to also address Eli Manning because I want your opinion if you believe he's a Hall of Famer as well. Unfortunately, we don't have time for that right now.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.